What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is OfficeGuys, and in today's video, I'm wanting to cover something that I think is a little bit more of a sensitive topic right now, but I do genuinely think that as a community, this is something that does need to be addressed. And this, of course, is going to be going over some things that we were seeing from the most recent TWAB from the 4th, for some upcoming changes that we're going to be getting. And I'm going to be 100% honest with you, there are a lot of really good changes that Bungie is going to be making for the quality of life for the game in Season 21, but honestly it seems like with every one good change that we either have two bad changes that are coming along with it, or even more so, it seems like the good changes only benefit the veteran or hardcore players and makes the game significantly worse for newer players. So let's go ahead and jump straight into it with the first thing that we see here on the TWAB in specific that I want to cover being the exotic armor focusing and decrypting. And I'm sure a lot of players, like veteran players and people that are in the game actively right now, are probably thinking, what do you mean? There's nothing wrong with this at all. This is a really good change. And in all honesty, I have to agree with you. I think as a whole, this is a very good change, but only for veteran players. This is extremely unhealthy for newer players coming into the game or people that want to get familiar with the game, as you can see here that it requires ownership of the associated expansion, as well as having previously acquired all armor pieces with the engram of your class. And I specifically want to go over the part where it says requires ownership of the associated expansion. This is extremely bad and extremely unhealthy for players that are wanting to get into the game and get familiarized with the game. You are limiting the builds and stuff that these individuals can do to have fun in the game as a whole, and you're slapping price tags on bundles and stuff like that for these expansions just to try and knock a bit of money out of all of these newer players. And in fairness, I think I can speak for a lot of people when I say that we should have had this feature not only a long time ago, but vast majority of these exotics and stuff like that, like from Forsaken and Shadowkeep, those should have been made free to play a long time ago. Like, I want you to think about this from a realistic point of view. You can somewhat argue making people pay the price for Beyond Light and all the expansions forward, and I think you might even be able to somewhat argue for Shadowkeep, but Forsaken, no. There's absolutely no shot. Majority of the content from Forsaken is not even in the game. And even then, you're trying to bundle this along with other expansions and trying to sell this at around a $20 price tag for this expansion when bundled with others. Forsaken has some of the better exotics and stuff that are in the game, and Bungie is completely aware of this, and that is why they have Forsaken as a whole slapped with a $20 price tag trying to sell it to newer players in hopes that they will go and purchase this just so that they can feel either stronger or more relevant in the game's current build. And in all honesty, for a lack of better words, this is extremely scummy. Again, I want you to think about this. I mean, in Forsaken, the campaign and stuff like that no longer exists. Vast majority of the missions and stuff through it aren't in the game anymore. The only major points of quote-unquote content relevancy that you're going to be getting from this expansion is going to be the dungeon, the raid, and then a small handful of the Forsaken ciphers that you're going to be given to grab some of the exotics that you're going to have to still earn through the kiosk. And now again, talking about content relevancy, we take a look at Shattered Throne, and realistically, what does Shattered Throne actually have to offer? I mean, you're going to have people paying $20 for this expansion that they might be able to convince their friends that are more hardcore veteran players or anything like that to run this with them like once, maybe when it's in Pinnacle rotation, and after that, they're not going to run it again. Because remember, Season 21, Pinnacle cap is not going to be going above 1810, so vast majority of the players that are actually actively playing the game and stuff are 1810 pretty much all across the board on all of their characters, or just whichever ones they want to be 1810 on. They're not going to run this. There's no reason for them to run this. There's no gear in here that's really worth getting at all at this point. The only weapon that's actually worth acquiring from Shattered Throne is Vouchsafe. It's a very specific role, but even then, King's Fall is free. And that's Doom of Kelkis, which I personally feel is the best scout in the entire game. So why in the hell would anybody go back and run Shattered Throne to farm a Vouchsafe when you can go and do it from Blinding Well anyway? And you have access to one of the best scouts in the entire game, and if you just farm King's Fall when it's in rotation, you can get it craftable. Last Wish. Now this is a little different because they could make this worth $20. They can. They're gonna have to reprise the rate of Last Wish, but obviously they've not done that. As far as I'm aware, we've not gotten any confirmations or anything like that they're going to be doing that for Last Wish anytime soon. But as of this moment, you would basically only be paying $20 to get some Forsaken ciphers and to get the Shirochi checkpoint so you can level your Doom of Kelkis because it's better than Vouchsafe. I mean, it is genuinely pointless, and to make matters even worse, this one is actually not even bundled in the Legacy Collection. I had to come back and just double check because I wanted to make sure it was actually in the Legacy Collection. Because if it was in the Legacy Collection, you know, you might be able to get it at least for a little bit of a knocked discount price or something like that. But I'm actually looking at the Steam window right now. Legacy Collection only comes with Shadowkeep, Beyond Light, and Witch Queen. So it's literally not even bundled with the other DLCs. You have to pay $20 for Forsaken, which again is like, it's nowhere even close to being relevant in the game at all anymore. And it has nothing to offer. So what they are literally doing is pushing a $20 price tag in these faces of newer players and stuff like that, even more than they've already been doing it, trying and pushing to get these people to go and spend $80 as a total for all of the content prior to Lightfall. And that's super scummy of them to do. So for me as an individual, someone who is a veteran player, someone who has pre-ordered every single expansion down the way, I had no idea in that even the Forsaken stuff wasn't free to play. I was actually under the influence at some point that the Forsaken exotics and stuff like that were able to be acquired free to play for a lot of these newer players and stuff like that, because it was, from what I had understood, supposed to make the game a little more user-friendly, but they're not. None of them are. The only exotics that they get, if they are pure free-to-play, are nothing but base game exotics. So again, in my personal opinion, tying a lot of really good exotics in the game and actually increasing build diversity and stuff like that, the fact that they are slapping a price tag on that, along with all of the other stuff that we're going to be getting to, is just extremely scummy. And for me, as an individual personally, I would rather have a stronger, a bigger, and a better community that is thriving for the game, well over Bungie trying to siphon more money from newer players that just want to be somewhat relevant. Now, with that being said, there are a lot of really good changes that we're going to be seeing in the game as well, some quality of life changes. Again, I'm looking at these right now. We're going to be seeing the increased drop rates for all of the raid-specific exotics and stuff that are in here, so this at least kind of makes the raids worth the money. Give or take. I mean, it really just depends on if you want them or not. But again, realistically, especially for endgame content and stuff like that, most of the stuff these raids have to offer in terms of like arsenal, weaponry, and that sort of stuff, it's completely irrelevant. It's not going to help a lot of new players or anything like that. This is really just going to help out a lot of the people that are on here now that are collectors and have just honestly gotten kind of unlucky in terms of getting these drops. Season Pass starting prices. I think these are fine. I think raising it from $10 to $12 is perfectly okay, but here is where the scummy sales tactic kind of jumps and falls into place here, and that of course is going to be that you can only purchase this, either you buy the bundle as a whole from the market, which I think is only with the silver bundle, so the price is going to be increased slightly. It's going to be $15 to get the season itself and a silver bundle to go along with it, or you can just buy the silver outright itself, which is actually no better, because the only options you have is to buy either 500 silver for $5, 1,000 silver for $10, and you get a bonus 100, so you get 1,100. And then the next one up is 2,300 silver for $20. So no matter what way you look at it, you have to, if you have no silver, which means if you've not made any transactions in the past to buy silver, and some people don't, you have to pay a minimum of $15 pretty much no matter what. So again, the price increase from $10 to $12, perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But the fact that you can't just either pay $12 directly outright, and I hope this is a change they do make, this is something that's not been confirmed, I don't think they will, but this is a sales tactic that I've realistically and honestly only seen with like really shitty mobile games that just try to con people into spending more so they can maximize their profits. And lo and behold, you know, big surprise, this is just extremely scummy of Bungie to do. I don't really care. I've got silver stored up and saved up and stuff. It's not going to affect me. But again, this is just targeted at like newer people that want to play with their friends and stuff like that and get into the game. Like Destiny 2 is, I would say, hands down, the worst game for new people to get into. I've tried to invite multiple friends from like my friends groups and stuff like that to play this game, even people from Destiny 1, and there is just so much stuff that you have to buy if you actually want to get into the good portions of the game, and the free-to-play has nothing to offer other than just advertising the stuff that you want to do. Like people that were hardcore Destiny 1 fans literally just can't even get back into the game because of how shitty the sales tactics and stuff like that are on here, and how little like actual useful stuff free-to-play actually has to engage any of these players. And it's just absolutely insane to me that we are further increasing the prices and targeting specifically newer people and just hoping that people that are either hardcore players or veteran players are going to simply turn the other cheek and just ignore the fact that they are trying to siphon money from any of the new people, and it's going to continue hurting the community that is already not really growing. And this in particular brings me back to the big debate and the big split in the community whenever they increased the price change and stuff like that for the dungeons. And that was just a stupid argument as a whole for me. Them increasing the dungeons up to $10 per Guardian, mind you, it's $30 for all 3 people for a full fire team. They spend $30 to run this dungeon. And in turn, you would hope that the quality of the content would have increased. Personally, I think the atmosphere of Spire the Watcher was really good, but the dungeon itself was actually really garbage. There were no really difficult puzzles, the mechanics to it were extremely boring, the bosses were nothing but copy and paste.
But Alpha, all the old dungeons, the bosses were copy and paste. They were copy and paste too.
Yeah, but the old dungeons were free. If the price is going to increase, then the quality of the content should reflect that. Because once again, you either had to pay no money to get into them back in the day, versus now, where you have to pay $30, $10 for each Guardian to go in. And in terms of most of the other changes and stuff like that, they look really good. They really do. Now, for trials and stuff like that, not a big trials guy, not a big PvP guy. I tried it in the past and stuff. Hackers and cheaters and stuff like that just got too bad, where I ended up having to kind of just go away from PvP as a whole. I've heard and seen online from several popular streamers, Grenader Jake in specific, saying that honestly Trials is in a really, really horrendous state right now, so I'm hoping this is something that they can address in the future, or at least upgrade their anti-cheat for all the poor PvP people out there. I really hope these guys get the attention they deserve, especially since you're going to be charging everybody so much more just to participate in this game. But God forbid, I really just hope they at least take all of this extra money and either improve the content a little bit, or at least get a better anti-cheat for those poor PvP people. Like, please, do something for them. Because here's the thing, I can read through all of these notes, I can read through all of the changes they're making to Trials and stuff like that, but what Bungie's not understanding is that you can sit here and you can slap all of these changes and stuff on this big page for people to read in hopes of getting them excited, but what you're not understanding is that if there are still cheaters and stuff in the game, and there are all these people that are absolutely ruining the experience for everybody, it doesn't matter what you do here. None of these changes actually do anything. And in all honesty, if they don't actually do something, it's just going to get worse. I'm seeing a new emblem here and stuff that they're adding for the flawless people. I think you have to go 7-0 without losing a single round pretty much the entire way that you go up to get this new emblem and stuff. This is just going to make stuff even worse. Like, cheaters are just going to be carrying people and stuff like that and doing paid services even more if you don't take care of these issues. This is actually going to just make stuff worse. Now, the PvE changes. I'm going to be making a video specifically covering a lot of the stuff over the PvE changes. I'm very excited for the PvE changes, but once again, for every good change, it seems like there's something bad that hits right behind it. So as a veteran player and someone who is a hardcore player, or someone that has just been involved in the game as long as I have, just like all of you, for everyone else that is the exact same way. You've been playing this game, you have the DLCs, you bought them as they came out, and you've just been playing as it goes. These are phenomenal changes for us. But again, as someone who is a hardcore player, it really hurts me and makes me upset seeing that they are not only hurting the newer players of the game, but they are making it, like, honestly at this point, near impossible for people to really even get into it. And just looking at the Steam page here and looking at the price tags and stuff to actually get up into it. So if you are a new player and you want to get all of the content up to now, you have Forsaken, $20, Witch Queen, $30, Beyond Light, $30, Shadowkeep, $25. Now you can get Shadowkeep, Beyond Light, and Witch Queen all for $60. That doesn't really make it that much better, but you know, at least it's a little bit cheaper. The 30th anniversary pack, which in all honesty, they're pretty much just banking on the nostalgia of G-Horn to carry the sales there, hoping that maybe they can reel some Destiny 1 players into it, something like that. It's not going to work. That one's $25, and Lightfall is a whopping $50. But kind of like I ranted earlier, it's a $20 price tag for Forsaken, and it's not even included in the Legacy Collection. Out of all of these DLCs, Forsaken is more legacy than all of them. So why is it not included? Why are you simply cutting this one away and charging $20 for it? And so I'm taking a look at it here. For these people to buy all of the content to actually get up to a relevant point, it's going to cost them like at cheapest, which doesn't include even purchasing the season that we're currently in, is going to be $140. And if you want to buy all of the cheapest plus the Lightfall with the annual pass, which is going to give you all of the seasonal stuff that we're going to be getting in the future, which I'm going to be honest with you, if you're going to pay the money to get into it, you may as well get it. It's going to be $190 because you're at least going to get a little bit more bang for your buck on this one because they are increasing the price and stuff like that of seasons coming. And if I do remember correctly, you will also get the dungeons for free, so you don't have to pay the $10 for those either. But with all that out of the way, again, like Season 21, lots of really good changes that we're going to be getting, but again, I'm honestly really disappointed with what they're doing to exploit the newer players of this game, and again, making it extremely hard to get into Destiny. They are hurting players and hurting the community severely here, and that's the last thing this game needs. I don't know how you guys feel about the situation, but I do want to know. Feel free to let me know in the comments down below whether you agree or disagree. I really just like seeing what you guys have to say, and I like having good civil discussions with you guys in the comments. And if you enjoy videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when my videos go live, and go ahead and leave a like and comment. That really helps me out a lot. But once again, my name's Alpha Skies, and I will catch you guys in the next video.